Dear law student, here's how you minimize student loan debt while you're going to law school. My name is Marco Brown. I own Brown Family Law in Salt Lake City, and I know a thing or two about law school debt because I had a ton of it when I got out of the University of Nebraska. I had $160,000, okay? It was between me and my wife. And then I decided after that, I was gonna put my wife through a PhD program, so it got even worse, okay? So I know about debt, I know how to pay it off, and I've thought a lot about how to minimize it. Now, the stats are that in law school, about 70% of law students will take out loans. And if you go to a public institution, if you take out loans, you're going to take out about $100,000. If you go to a private institution and take out loans, you're probably going to take out about $140,000. That's pretty much the average. So how do you minimize that? You don't want to do that to yourself. It's a bad play. I did it. I wish I hadn't done it. So how do you minimize law student loans? Okay. One is you would choose a reasonably priced law school. So this starts before you ever go to law school. Find a reasonably priced one, okay? And you really need to delve into not only what they publish, but also talk to students and talk to the administration and say, what's the average low debt that people have coming out of this law school, so on and so forth. You can find that. You can find their tuition, but tuition is only a part of it because then do they have on-campus options for living? Do they have off-campus options? Like how expensive is it to live in the area, right? Omaha, Nebraska is going to be vastly different than going to USC and living in LA, for instance. So you want to do those calculations, okay? And then choose a reasonably priced law school. What I mean by reasonably priced is try to find the cheapest law school, really, okay? 2, take out as few loans as possible. Get as many scholarships as you can, have family help you, save money beforehand, whatever you can do to minimize your low debt, okay? Now, what this means when you're choosing a law school is if you get a scholarship from, say, a tier 3 school, or you can go to a tier 1 school, but the tier 1 school, you're not going to get a scholarship and you're going to incur significantly more student loan debt. I'm going to tell you to go to the tier 3 school. And I'm going to tell you that because as an employer of lawyers and as a guy who knows a lot of people who employ lawyers, we don't care where you went to law school. We care about your grades. That's much more important, but we don't care where you went to law school. I, in fact, do not know where half of the lawyers in my firm went to law school because I try not to care, okay? I want to know them. I want to know the quality of their character. I want to know how they work, how well they're going to take care of my clients, so on and so forth, right? I don't really care where they went to law school, okay? Law schools tell you that people care where they went to law school because that law school is trying to sell you, okay? But it's not true. So if you have the opportunity to get a bunch of loans and go to a lower tier law school, I'm going to tell you almost 100% of the time to do that and minimize the debt coming out because I think that is actually going to maximize your standard of living and your income over time, okay, over your lifetime, okay? So number 3, work. Work as much as you can during law school, okay? Maybe that you can't do it during your 1L year unless you're an absolute genius, but no one really is. So you're not gonna work that first year of law school. That summer between 1L and 2L years, you can certainly intern, you can do those sorts of things if you want to, but I would also tell you just to work like a dog. Okay, work 80 hours a week, work 100 hours a week, work a second and a third job in order to be able to pay for law school and to minimize your debt, okay? Very difficult to do that, I realize it. It's a lot of work, but I guarantee you when you're 10 years out and you still have $200,000 in debt, you're gonna be wishing that you would work during that summer between 1L and 2L year, okay? And then 4, choose or transfer a school that will give you the best scholarship. Kind of talked about this in number 2, but yeah, take the best scholarship you can, okay? And realize that you can parlay your 1L year and maybe move to a school that's gonna give you a scholarship for your 2L and 3L years, right? So maybe you do well at your school in 1L year and then you're like, I'm gonna go shop around and see if I can go to another place that's gonna give me a scholarship for my 2L and 3L years because this school I'm going to right now is not going to do that, okay? So start reaching out, start figuring that out when you get your grades in your 1L year and you've done well, okay? So take that scholarship. If you can take it beforehand, take it before you ever start law school. if you can parlay your grades and your performance during your 1L year into a good scholarship for 2 or 3L years, even if it means changing law schools, almost 100% of the time I'm going to tell you to do that, okay? It's about the minimization of debt as you get out of law school. If you have zero, you're going to be able to accumulate wealth very, very quickly as an attorney, because you're going to do well, you're going to invest, and it's just going to compound. If you have $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in debt hanging over you, you're not going to compound nearly as quickly. You're not going to invest as much. You're going to be kind of here, there, and everywhere with your money, and that is going to be really, really difficult for you, okay? So don't do it. And the other thing is, emotionally, that debt is just horrible, okay? It was horrible for me physically and horrible for me emotionally. Like, I know what that feels like, and I don't want anybody to feel that. So please take these 4 steps, use them, minimize your law school debt. Okay, thank you very much.